Welcome to week 10 of the NZCFL. As today we have a great game as the AAC giant Central Florida travels to Memphis, Tennessee to take on the rising team of Memphis. As both teams come out, they actually meet up at the 50-yard line and a huge clash as there is a whole lot of pushing and shoving before the game. As the coaches and officials try to separate the two teams, they are fired up and they are ready to play. Central Florida is led by quarterback Darian Green and wide receiver Danny Crawford. Darian Green actually leads the nation in passing yards with 3,582 and tied leading the nation in passing touchdowns with 38. Danny Crawford is leading the nation in receiving yards with 1,515 and leading the nation in receiving touchdowns with 19. Both players of Central Florida, both easily Heisman candidates. The real question is, can they live up to the hype? Memphis is led by Nick Page, and on the year, Nick Page, he has 2,710 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. Can he be the leading cause of an upset today? As the captains head to the coin toss. And Central Florida calls heads, and it is heads. Central Florida elects to kick the ball, and we have a game on the roll. Oh, actually, they call the receiver the ball. They want the ball first. And Nick Goodman of Memphis kicks the ball, and it goes in the back of the end zone for a touchback. It is 1st and 10, UCF's 25. Darren Green just back to pass. And he throws it to Danny Crawford, but it's over his head, and there's flags on the play as they call a unnecessary roughness on Colin Dean of Memphis. He actually tackled the other wide receiver for no reason across the field. So it's an unnecessary roughness on Colin Dean. It is getting heated early today. 1st and 10 on UCS 40. Darian Green drops back to pass, and he's looking Charles Marshall on just a nice slant play, and it falls incomplete as it's batted down at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 on UCF's 40. Darian Green hands the ball off to Cade Laird. Cade Laird is very patient as he stays behind his blockers, and he bursts out easily to the left side for a 9-yard gain before getting taken down. 3rd and 1 on UCS 49. Darian Green drops back to pass, and it is just a swing out right to Greedy Hughes, and Greedy Hughes is able to find 4 yards for the first down. 1st and 10 on Memphis 47. Darian Green hands the ball to Greedy Hughes, and Greedy Hughes rushes up the middle, but he's not able to find anything as Memphis holds him for a 0-yard gain. 2nd and 10 on Memphis 47. Darian Green drops back to pass, and he's actually getting chased by the defensive lineman, and he gets taken down by Anthony Knight of Memphis for a 9-yard sack. 3rd and 19 on UCS 44. Darian Green, play action. He pump fakes it to Danny Crawford and kind of gets the defense to jump over, and he throws it to Kevin Onyegbu for a 20-yard catch before he tiptoes out of bounds for a 20-yard catch, and he is in. 1st and 10 on Memphis 36. Darian Green drops back to pass, and he tries to dump it off to Cade Laird, and it falls incomplete as Cade Laird is tackled and cannot hold on to the ball. 2nd and 10, Memphis 36. Darian Green hands the ball off to Greedy Hughes, and Greedy Hughes once again gets stood up by the defense and finds 0 yards. 3rd and 10 on Memphis 36. Darian Green hands the ball off to Greedy Hughes, and Greedy Hughes runs up the middle for a 2-yard gain. 4th and 8 on Memphis 34 as they trot out the kick team. This is not an easy kick as it's a 51-yard field goal. And William Sharp is out there and he puts it up. And it is good. It would have been good by 60 yards. So it is good. It is 3-0 UCF. And UCF takes their first timeout as the team remnants a silenced Memphis stadium. And William Sharp kicks the ball off and goes into the end zone. As for it, it goes into the end zone, but Justin McCammon of Memphis returns the kick for 24 yards, and he gets taken down. 1st and 10 on Memphis 22. Nick Page hands the ball off to Dwight Becker. Becker is able to find 2 yards up the middle. It's 2nd and 8 on Memphis 24. This time, Nick Page hands the ball off to Dwight Becker, and he bounces out to the left and for a fine 6 yards. A 3rd and 2 on Memphis 30. And it looks like Central Florida is lining up for what they think looks to be a run play. And Nick Page, play action, and he dumps it off to Samuel Robinson. And Samuel Robinson is able to find 2 blockers, and he is able to run and find 26 yards before getting pushed out of bounds. 1st and 10 on UCF's 44. Nick Page drops back to pass once more, and he finds Samuel Robinson on the same play, and he's able to find 10 yards. It's 1st and 10 on UCF's 34. Nick Page hands the ball off to Dwight Becker, and Dwight Becker is able to go up the middle, and he has blockers, and he gets taken down for 11 yards for the first down. It's 1st and 10 on UCF's 23. Nick Page on a quarterback design run to the right side, and he gets tripped up for a -2 yards. It's 2nd and 12 on UCF's 25. Nick Page drops back to pass, and it is a fake pitch to the right, and he dumps it off to Dwight Becker to the left, and he's only able to find 1 yard. It's 3rd and 11 on UCF's 24. And Nick Page hands the ball off to Dwight Becker. Dwight Becker is able to find 4 yards. It's 4th and 7 on UCF's 20. As they send out the kick team. And before the kick is up, there are flags on the play for a neutral zone infraction on Edmund Lee of UCF. And it is accepted. It's 4th and 2 on UCF's 15. Coach Taz is overlooking and talking with Nick Page, and he tells Nick Page to go out on the field as the offense trout back out. And they line up, and then looks like it's going to be a quarterback sneak. Nick Page rushes for 3 yards for the straight up the middle for a 1st and 10 on UCF's 12. And Nick Page once more on a quarterback design run and finds 0 yards. It's 2nd and 10 on UCF's 12. And Nick Page on the option play, he holds on to the ball and he's able to find 3 yards before sliding down. 3rd and 7 on UCF's 9. Nick Page drops back to pass, and he's looking in the corner of the end zone, and he throws it, and oh my goodness, it gets tipped. And Jamil Stevens of Memphis is able to catch the tipped ball and for a 9-yard touchdown. And the extra point from Goodman is up, and it is good. It is 3-7 Memphis. And Nick Goodman kicks it out, and it is fair caught for a touchback. 1st and 10 on UCF's 25. Darren Green drops back to pass, and he's looking Charles Marshall, and Charles Marshall gets blown up by the defense of Memphis as he falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 on UCF's 25. Getting green, play action, and he rolls out to the right and he dumps it to Charles Marshall. And Marshall's only able to find 6 yards before getting stuffed and taken down. 3rd and 4 on UCF's 31. And Darian Green hands the ball off to Cade Laird. Cade Laird is able to run for 6 yards for the first down. And there's flags on the play. And it looks to be a defensive holding on Chris Brown of Memphis. And it is declined. 1st and 10 on UCF's 37. Dan Green, play action. And this time he rolls out to his left. He's looking. He sees his other Heisman candidate getting open and he throws it. And perfect on a dot, he finds Danny Crawford for a 63-yard touchdown. And William Sharp puts it up, and it is good. It is 10-7. UCF. And William Sharp kicks the ball into the end zone, and Justin McKimmon once again returns the kickoff, and he's only able to find 17 yards. Coach Taz better talk with him to kind of kneel the ball down because they're losing field advantage right now. It's 1st and 10 on Memphis 10. Nick Page on a quarterback design option, and he holds on to the ball and finds 3 yards. 2nd and 7 on Memphis 13. Nick Page drops back to pass, and he's looking for Jamil Stevens, and he is double covered. He still throws the ball, and it gets batted down. It's 3rd and 7 on Memphis 13. And Nick Page drops back to pass, and he has C.J. Kelsey running across the field, and he throws it, and he catches it, and he's able to almost beat his man. He gets taken down, but he stretches and he finds the 13 yards that is needed. But there is flags on the play in the backfield, and it will be an offensive holding on Xavier Noltmeyer. So it'll be 3rd and 13 on Memphis 7. And Nick Page hands the ball to Dylan Harris, and Dylan Harris runs up the middle for 3 yards. And there's once again flags on the play. And it is a holding call on Jack Hampton. And of course so it's declined. It's 4th and 10 on Memphis 10. Jack Roach comes out for the punt team, and he kicks it, and it's a 45-yard punt. And John Brown of Central Florida is able to catch the ball, and he has some blockers. He makes the first guy miss, and he has a small hole, and he gets rushed out of bounds for a 25-yard punt return. It's 1st and 10 on Memphis 30. Darian Green on a quarterback design run, he rushes to the left, and he gets taken down and stuffed for a -2 yards. And that'll be the end of the the first quarter. Start of the second quarter. It's 2nd and 12 on Memphis 32. Darian Green hands the ball off to Cade Laird. Cade Laird's able to find 6 yards. It's 3rd and 6 on Memphis 26. Darian Green drops back to pass, and he's looking Danny Crawford in the corner of the end zone, and he throws it. And this time it is not a dot, but it is just overthrown, and it falls incomplete. 4th and 6 on Memphis 26. And the kick team goes out, and William Sharp puts it up, and it is good for 43 yards. 13-7. William Sharp kicks the ball to the 2-yard line, and Justin McCammon returns the kick, and he's able to have some blockers down the field, and he gets taken down for a 28-yard return. 1st and 10 on Memphis 30. Nick Page drops back to pass, and he finds Cordell Fowler for a 16-yard gain up the middle. It's 1st and 10 on Memphis 46. Nick Page drops back to pass. He's looking to swing it to Dylan Harrison. Dylan Harris gets bumped, and it falls incomplete. And it is pass interference on Cam Nixon of Central Florida, and then it's accepted. It's 1st and 10 on UCF's 49. Nick Page motions Jamil Stevens over, and he hands the ball off to Jamil Stevens, and Jamil Stevens finds 5 yards. 2nd and 5, UCF's 44. Nick Page hands the ball to Dwight Becker. Becker is able to go off the right tackle, and he finds 6 yards. It's 1st and 10 on UCF's 38. Nick Page hands the ball off to Dwight Becker, and it's a one-on-one with the linebacker at UCF, and Dwight Becker plows the linebacker down and gets taken down for a 6-yard gain. As that linebacker is still on the ground, he is holding his calf, and he gets taken out of the game. He gets carried off. We will check back on it, and hopefully we can get a update on that at halftime. It's 2nd and 4. Central Florida, 32. Nick Page drops back to pass, and he gets rushed by the defensive line, and he narrowly escapes, but he gets sacked for a 2-yard loss. It's 3rd and 6 on UCF's 34. Nick Page hands the ball off to Dylan Harris, and Dylan Harris is only able to find 3 yards for Memphis. It's 4th and 3, UCF's 31. And once again, Taz is putting the ball in Nick Page's hands and says, "Go do something for me." And Nick Page hands the ball off. He hands the ball off to Dylan Harris on a reverse counter, and Dylan Harris is able to find 9 yards. 1st and 10 on UCF's 22. Nick Page drops back to pass, and he's able to find Dwight Becker on a nice little cutback route from Becker, and he gets taken down by the defensive man of UCF, and a second defender jumps on the pile, and flags are thrown but the flags are thrown not for that, but it's thrown for roughing the passer on Barry Corey. 1st and goal on UCF's 4. Nick Page hands the ball to Dylan Harris. Dylan Harris runs up the middle and gets stood up as it is a 0-yard gain. 2nd and goal on UCF's 4. Nick Page on the option. He hands it to Alex Clark, and Alex Clark high steps into the end zone for a 4-yard touchdown. It's 13-13. And the extra point is up, and it is good. It's 14-13 Memphis. Nick Goodman kicks the ball off and then to the 1-yard line. And Andre Fangupo returns the kickoff for a 28-yard return. It's 1st and 10, UCF's 29. Darren Green hands the ball to Cade Laird. Cade Laird is able to go up the middle, and he finds 8 yards. It's 2nd and 2 on UCF's 37. Darren Green hands the ball off to Cade Laird, and Cade Laird gets stood up by the defense. The negative 2-yard loss. It's 3rd and 4 in UCF's 35. And Darren Green drops back to pass. And there's a defender on the ground, and that leaves the wide receiver wide open, and Darren Green is able to find him, and it's no one other than Danny Crawford. And he's able to find the end zone for a 65-yard touchdown. As we look at the replay, it literally looks like the Memphis guy just tripped on his own legs as he went to cross his legs. He literally clipped his heel and tripped himself. And the extra point is up, and it is good. It's 20-14. William Sharp kicks the ball off to the 5-yard line. Justin McCammon returns the kick, and he finds a little hole, and he goes for 29 yards. That's 1st and 10 on Memphis 34. Alrighty, it's 1st and 10 on Memphis 34, and Nick Page drops back to pass, and he dumps it to Edmund Lee, and Edmund, he is sacked by Edmund Lee for a 5-yard loss. 2nd and 15 on Memphis 29. And 2nd and 15 on Memphis 29. Nick Page drops back to pass. And this time he actually does dump it off to Brandon Richardson for a 4-yard gain. 3rd and 11 on Memphis 33. Nick Page drops back to pass. And he tries to replicate what Darian has done before on the opposite field. And he throws it to Jamil Stevens. And it just gets batted down by the defender. It's 4th and 11 on Memphis 33. Jake Roach punts the ball, and it's a 45 yards punt, and John Brown returns the punt for 0 yards. 6 minutes and 17 seconds left in the half. 1st and 10 on UCF's 22. Darian Green hands the ball to Greedy Hughes, and Greedy Hughes is able to find a hole for 7 yards before getting taken down. It's 2nd and 3 on UCF's 29. Darian Green juts back to pass, and it's a running back screen. And he dumps it to Cade Laird. And with the screen, he has blockers. He has anything he needs in front of him. And the blockers block, and he finds the hole, and he bursts. And he gets pushed out of bounds after running for 70 yards and gets pushed out of the 1-yard line. It's 1st and goal on Memphis 1. All right, Darian Green hands the ball off to Cade Laird, and Cade Laird tries to bounce it out, but it is not good enough as it gets taken down for a negative 2 yards. It's 2nd and goal on Memphis 3. And Darren Green drops back to pass, and he just quickly jump balls it over to Danny Crawford. And Danny Crawford Lil Bros the defender as he catches the ball and taps the helmet of the player with the ball a couple times. And he celebrates with a too short dude. The extra point is up, and it is good. It is 27-14. Danny Crawford with 3 touchdowns on the day. William Sharp kicks the ball off to the 10-yard line, and Justin McCammon returns the kickoff to the 21. Kicks the ball off to the 21 yards, and he returns it for 21 yards. It's 1st and 10 on Memphis 31. Nick Page drops back to pass, and he's looking for Jamil Stevens, and Jamil Stevens, it falls incomplete, but there's a holding on Kirby Amundsen of the offense as it is accepted. It's 1st and 20 on Memphis 21. Nick Page drops back to pass, and he finds Dylan Harris on the wheel route, and he gets pushed out of bounds on the for 14 yards. That holding play didn't happen to be a first down. 2nd and 6. Memphis 35. Nick Page looks to pass and he rolls out to the right and he dumps it off to CJ Kelsey. And CJ Kelsey must have been looking forward as he just drops the ball. It's 3rd and 6 on Memphis 35. Nick Page drops back to pass. And he's looking to Dylan Harris on the wheel route. And he throws it in. It just overthrown out of bounds. It's 4th and 6 on Memphis 35. So without that holding call, that would have been a first down, and most likely the drive would have continued. It's 4th and 6 on Memphis 35. Jake Roach punts the ball for 37 yards. John Brown is waiting for the kick. For the punt, and he catches it, and he's able to find a respectable 13 yards. With 3 minutes and 53 seconds left in the first half. It is 2nd and 11 on UCF's 40. Darren Green hands the ball off to Greedy. Greedy gets stuffed up the middle for a negative 1 yard. Negative 1 yards. It's 2nd and 11 on the 40. Darren Green hands ball to Cade Laird. Cade Laird is able to find 2 yards up the middle. It's 3rd and 9 on UCF's 42. Darren Green drops back to pass, and he gets chased by the defenders, and he slides for 6 yards after escaping the defensive line. It's 4th and 3 on UCF's 48. And it looks like Coach Jack is keeping the offense on the field for 4th and 3 on the 48 of UCF's. Darren Green hands ball to Greedy Hughes. Greedy Hughes is able to bounce it out to the right, and he has nobody in front of him. And he rushed it for 13 yards before getting taken down. And UCF takes their first timeout. Their second timeout. Oh, first timeout, sorry. And 1st and 10 on Memphis 39. Darren Green hands ball to Greedy Hughes. Greedy Hughes is able to find the 1 yard. And this time, a defensive man jumps on the pile after the play, and it is unnecessary roughness on Roderick Walters, and it is accepted. But it's not who you think it would be, as it is on UCF. Oh, actually, no, it's on Memphis. Sorry. Yep, 1st and 10 on Memphis 23. Darren Green hands ball to Greedy Hughes. Greedy Hughes bouncing off to the left side, and he stiffs arm a man to the ground, and he's able to find 12 yards. UCF set. Second timeout, 1 remaining. First and 10, Memphis 11. Darren Green drops back to pass, and he dumps it off to Cade Laird. And even though the defender is draped all over Laird, he's able to catch the ball for 4 yards, and flags are thrown, and it is a pass interference on George Dobbs, and is declined. It's 2nd and 6 on Memphis 7. Darren Green hands the ball to Cade Laird. Cade Laird goes up the middle for 5 yards. And UCF takes their final timeout with 2 minutes, 1 second left on the clock. It's 3rd and 1 on Memphis 2. And Darren Green hands the ball to Greedy Hughes, and Greedy Hughes pushes his head down, and he goes into the end zone for a 2-yard rushing touchdown. It is 33-14. The extra point is up, and it is good. 34-14 UCF. And William Sharp kicks the ball to the touchback for a touchback. It's 1st and 10 on Memphis 25. Nick Page hands the ball to Dwight Becker. Dwight Becker is able to get stood up for 0 yards. And it's 2nd and 10 on Memphis 25. Nick Page motions Jamil over and hands the ball off to Jamil, and he's able to find 6 yards. That's 3rd and 4, Memphis 31. As the time is ticking down, it's 27 seconds left till the first half is over. Nick Page drops back to pass, and he throws it to Dylan Harris, and Dylan Harris is not able to catch it. It falls incomplete, but Nick Page is laying on the ground, and he's slow to get up. When he does get up, there's flags on the play. It's roughing the passer on DeAndre Adams. And is accepted. It's 1st and 10 on Memphis 46. 19 seconds left. Nick Page hands the ball off to Dylan Harris. And Dylan Harris is able to find 8 yards straight up the middle. And they rush to the line. It's 2nd and 2 on UCF 46. Nick Page hands the ball to Dwight Becker. Dwight Becker is able to find 6 yards. As they rush back to the line, I don't think Taz realizes that he has timeouts left, but the kick team is getting sent out for a 57-yard field goal. And he still has timeouts left, but he still is not calling it. And he's brushed his kicker, and it is up, and it just falls short. He misses the 57-yard field goal to end the half. Alrighty, today's game is brought to you by Pepsi. It took us a while to get the sponsor from Pepsi, but they have the new the mods and the corporate of Pepsi have talked, and they decided to join the team. So exciting sponsor of ours. Alrighty. All right, let's get this second half rolling. Reminder, Central Florida started off with the ball, so Memphis is taking the ball from the second half. And the score is going to be 34-14. And William Sharp kicks the ball off to the 2-yard line, and Justin McCammon returns the kick for 20 yards as it is 1st and 10 on Memphis 22. Nick Page hands the ball off to Dwight Becker, and Dwight Becker is able to find 7 yards, but there is a flag on the play, and it looks to be a defensive holding on Jovan Johnson, and Jovan Johnson, is on Central Florida and is declined by Memphis. It's 2nd and 3 on Memphis 29. Nick Page drops back to pass, and he swings it out to Brandon Richardson, and Brandon Richardson gets stood up by these defensive backs of Central Florida for a 0-yard gain. It's 3rd and 3 on Memphis 29. Nick Page hands the ball off to Dylan Harris. And Dalen Harris rushes up the middle and he finds 6 yards after being patient waiting on his blockers. It's 1st and 10 on Memphis 35. Nick Page draws back the pass. And on a curl route, he finds Jamil Stevens and he falls to the ground for a 13-yard gain. It's 1st and 10 on Memphis 48. Nick Page pitches the ball to Dylan Harris, and Dylan Harris is met by the defensive linebackers for a negative 2-yard loss. It's 2nd and 12 on Memphis 46. And Nick Page hands the ball to Dwight Becker. Becker's able to go off the left guard, and he finds 6 yards. It's 3rd and 6 on UCF 48. And Nick Page rolls out to the left side, and he finds Cordell Fowler. And Cordell Fowler is able to find the 6 yards that is needed before he's stepping out of bounds. It's 1st and 10 on UCF 42. Nick Page hands the ball to Dylan Harris, and Dylan Harris is instantly met by the defensive line and gives negative 2 yards. It's 2nd and 12 on UCF's 44. Nick Page hands the ball off to Dylan Harris, and Dylan Harris is able to he's able to find nothing at all as he loses another negative 2 yards. It's 3rd and 14 on UCF's 46. Nick Page drops back to pass, and he was looking for Jonathan Estep, and he throws it, and it just gets batted down by the defensive backs. It's 4th and 14 on UCF's 46. Jake Roach punts the ball 42 yards, and John Brown is there to return the punt for a 19-yard gain. It's 1st and 10 on UCF's 23. Darian Green hands the ball off to Greedy Hughes, and Hughes rushes up, and he cuts it to the right, and he finds 11 yards before getting taken down. 1st and 10 on UCF's 34. Darian Green hands the ball off to Cade Laird. Cade Laird waits behind his left tackle, and he follows him for an 8-yard gain before getting taken down. It's 2nd and 2 on UCF's 42. And Darian Green pitches it to the right side for Greedy Hughes, and Greedy Hughes is instantly met by the defensive back for a negative 4-yard loss. It's 3rd and 6 on UCF's 38. And Darian Green drops back to pass into play action, and once again he just chucks it down the field for his star wide receiver Danny Crawford to climb the ladder for 31 yards before getting tripped up before getting taken down. It's 1st and 10 on Memphis 31. Darren Green drops back to pass, and he finds Greedy Hughes for a 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6 on Memphis 27. 5 minutes and 52 seconds left in the third quarter. Darren Green hands the ball off to Mitchell McCarthy. McCarthy rushes for 0 yards. It's 3rd and 6 on Memphis 27. And Darren Green hands the ball to Zachary Martin, and Martin is able to find 7 yards. 1st and 10 on Memphis 20. Darren Green drops back to pass, and he's looking for Maurice Kroom, and he throws it, and Kroom, being fresh onto the field, is not able to catch the ball, so it falls in and out of his hands. It's 2nd and 10 on Memphis 20, and the offensive lineman, Evan Cooper, jumps just too early, and it's a false start on Central Florida as they back up. It's 2nd and 15 on Memphis 25. Darren Green drops back to pass, and he throws a slant to Danny Crawford. Danny Crawford gets hit by the defensive back, but he stays up, and he gets taken down for a 14-yard receiving catch. It's 3rd and 1 in Memphis 11. Darren Green drops back to pass. and he throws it to Charles Marshall in the corner of the end zone, and it falls incomplete as it barely touches his fingertips. It's 4th and 1 on Memphis 11. And you would think the field goal team would be trotting out on the field, but Jack is staring on the opposite sidelines and looking at Taz as he sends out the offense once more. And just a middle finger to the Memphis team, Darian Green drops back to pass. He rolls out to the left. He dumps it off to Charles Marshall, and Marshall's able to find 8 yards. It's 1st and goal, Memphis 3. Darren Green hands the ball to Greedy Hughes. Greedy Hughes goes up the middle for 2 yards. 2nd and goal on Memphis 1, and Darren Green holds the ball to Kay Laird. And Kay Laird climbs up the mountain and reaches over for the touchdown. For 1 yard touchdown. The extra point is up, and it is good. 41-14. And ladies and gentlemen, that will be game. I will be calling it, as after that touchdown in the 3rd quarter, Memphis will score an early 4th quarter touchdown, making it 41-21. And Central Florida, Darian Green, will follow that up with a 20-yard touchdown to Al McClinton. And Memphis with a garbage touchdown by Nick Page, throwing it to Cordell Fowler for a 5-yard touchdown, making it 48-28. Central Florida.